Okay, this is video number 2 for the practice test for test number 1 for data structures, and we need to declare 2 arrays to keep track of names and phone numbers. First array is called contact name and holds 50 strings, so that's pretty easy. String contact equals new 50. And the second one is called phone numbers, and it holds let's see, strings for phone numbers as well. So a string, but it's a two-dimensional array, so you got to do this 2 pairs of brackets, and we call this phone numbers equals new. Yeah, it's going to be 50 rows, and it's going to be 3 columns, so should look like that. Write the code to set aside 50 elements. We did that with the declaration. Write the code to set aside 50 rows and 3 columns. We did that with the declaration as well. Initialize the contact name array to empty strings. So for I equals 0, I is less than 50, I plus plus, and contact names of I equals an empty string. Okay, and then we want to initialize the phone numbers array to empty string. That's going to be nested. Let's do R equals 0, R is less than 50, R plus plus, and then we need another loop. C equals 0, C is less than 3, C plus plus, and what we want to do is set phone numbers and R, and you got to do the separate pairs of square brackets here. It's not like C#. And we set that equal to an empty string. Okay. Write a public void method called setEntry, which will accept an index number in the array, a name, and 3 phone numbers. The first is the home phone, then the mobile phone, and the work phone, and they should go in the array. Okay, so that's pretty easy to do. So public static void set entry, and we're going to pass in an index number, call it position, and we're passing in name, and we're passing in another string which is phone. Let me see what's the first one. Home phone, string work phone. Is that second one? No, it's the mobile phone, called cell phone. Okay, now it doesn't say anything about passing in the array. So, at least I don't think it does. Name, 3 phone numbers first, okay, and what we're supposed to do is put the name in the given position in the contact name array and the phone numbers in the same row in the phone numbers array. So that does require for these 2 variables here to be declared. Whoops, let's try it from over here. It might be a little easier. Okay, so do a Control X, and I'm going to move them up here, and let me see. I think if I move them up there, they need to be static. See if that'll get rid of some of my error messages, and I think we're good. Okay, and now what I want to do is I want to go to that position, and I want the contact name at PSN equal to the name that was passed in as a parameter, and then I want phone numbers at PSN 0 equals home phone, and phone numbers Yeah, position 1 is going to be the cell phone. And phone numbers, I misspelled numbers up above, we'll fix that in a minute, equals work phone. Okay, so let's fix the spelling of numbers here. And that is all that we have to do. I probably want to test this up here, so let's do, you see, set entry, and we'll just do position 5, comma, George, comma, 555 dash 123 dash 4567, and his cell phone is 72 dash 555 dash 3434, and comma 72 dash 555 dash 9999, and that kind of doesn't really matter, but just to make it more realistic, dash, we'll do 555 when we get these two. Okay, so why am I getting an error message for that? I don't know. Position, string, 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 semicolon expected. Okay. Okay. Now I also want to write, I did that set entry. Now I want to write a public string function called formatted phone number, which will accept a 10-digit number. And okay, so it didn't tell me this, I don't think. Maybe it did, and I just kind of read this too fast. We're not formatting the phone number. It's just going to be a 10-digit string here that looks like this. And now we want to write a method that will format that for us. So public static can return a string, and it's going to be called formatted phone number, and it'll accept a string, which we're just going to call phone. And what we want to do is it's also going to accept a character telling us what kind of phone number is being formatted. So comma character, and we'll call it type. Okay, and now what I want to do is I want to format this, and I'm going to format it with parentheses around the area code, a space between the area code and the 7-digit phone number, and a hyphen, and then at the end space and the type of phone in parentheses. So I might be able to do that with one command. Return left parenthesis, and then a substring, phone dot substring, and I want 0, and I want 3 characters. That can be characters 0, 1, and 2. Plus, and then I want a closing parenthesis and a space, and then I want a plus, and I want the next 3 characters, so that's going to be phone dot substring, starting at position 3, and I want 3 characters, so 3 plus 3 is 6, plus, and then a hyphen, and then plus, and we'll continue down here, and then I want phone dot substring, and I want this one to be at position 6, and I want it to be 4, so that's 10 is the other number there, and then plus, and then space, and semicolon, and I don't think I can concatenate a character. I'm going to try it and see, and I don't bet you anything I get an error when I try to do that. And I do not get an error when I try to do that. So I've got some sample code in the book to test that. I'm going to copy that. System.out.println and formatted phone number, and I'm going to pass in 712.279.5411, comma W, quotation marks, W, so that's a work number. And let's try to run it now, and let's see what we get for output. And I want parentheses around the area code, and it looks good, except I think I was supposed to put parentheses around the type. So I need a left parenthesis here, and I need to go to the end here, and I need to tack on a right parenthesis, and now we're good. Okay, the last thing we want to do is write a public void method called print entries that will accept two integers in the range from 0 to 49, and first one represents the first row, second one represents the last row, and print all the names and phone numbers starting with the first row and ending with the last row. Print the name in a 20-character field, pad it with blanks on the right, followed by the formatted phone numbers, and put 3 spaces between the phone numbers. Output should look like this. Okay, so public static is going to be void, print, and I'm going to integer called that's where we start, and another integer where we end. And what we want to do here is for int I equals start, I is less than or equal to end, I plus plus. And what we want to do is we want to print out, so system dot out dot print, and we'll do a print f, and we're going to do quotation marks, percent s, I think I need 20 s for the width, and then it's going to be what's the name of my array? Contact name at position I, semicolon. And I'm going to run that right now, but print entries 5, 5. Well, I got one item in there, so we'll just print starting at 5 and ending at 5, and let's see if we get George. And I want George to be left aligned in a 20-character field, and it is right aligned in a 20-character field. And I can't remember off the top of my head how to do that. Is it a minus 20? Let's try that and see. It is. So now George is left aligned, and I'll bet if we count up the number of spaces between that and the word build, I'll bet we get a total of 20 characters, including George. Okay, so I have printed out his name correctly. And what else I want to do is I want to print out and the phone numbers with 3 spaces after. So I'm going to do quotation marks, percent s, 1, 2, 3, comma, and then it's going to be phone numbers I0 to get the first one, and then I just need to copy that and do 1 and 2, and then at the end I want to do a new line. So let me see, \n. Let me put 2 entries in there at least. So we'll put something in location 6, and numbers don't really matter. That should still look good. And whoops, I want the formatted phone number. And so that's going to be, what's the first one? The first one is home, I think. And need another parenthesis there. And I'm just going to copy this and paste it in, and go down here and paste it in, and change this to a 1. Whoops. Change this to 2, and this was cell, and this was W, I think. And now let's run it, and I should get 2 names at the end. Oh, I gotta put a 6 in here. Now let's run it again, and I should get George and Bob. And I do. And I think that looks good. That looks pretty much like the stuff on the bottom of our practice test page problem description. So that's it. That's the end of the practice test. If you can do all of that. So there's some formatting involved here. We do have to know how to use the substring method, and then the rest of it is using arrays, one-dimensional arrays, two-dimensional arrays. With this, we're just manipulating numbers. We got if statements, we've got functions, we get passing parameters back and forth. So just basic Java programming. And so that should give you a good idea of what's going to be on the test. If you can do everything on here pretty well, you'll probably be in pretty good shape when it comes time to take the test.